today's time, marketing is no more the traditional kind of a role. The way marketing has evolved, working on the hyper personalization, working on the content, working with different teams from sales to solution architect to the customer success story team.
We have moved from being a support function who was looked at someone who adds a creative side of your organization to somebody who's part of the growth structure, who's a revenue driver. Breathe in and live customers' voice, ensure there's a good exchange between external world, which is all your customers and stakeholders.
In my view, I think we are now also architects of the end-to-end customer experience. For marketing to integrate very deeply with sales, product, service, and take the customer's non-linear journey across all touch points, whether it's digital, physical.
The customer engagement lives. So one thing is very clear. We see that AI as a strategic partner. There are two important critical areas which I foresee. One is the automation and second is the modernization.
Mix of structured, unstructured, but very important, it's, as I call it, the 3 V's, which is volume, velocity and variety, which is something that, anyone who's looking at data and analytics and insights has to deal with. So
from mind share to market share is something where we always look forward. Marketing decisions and to engage with the right audience at the right time, and also continuously improve the way that we tell our story to the outside world.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. A warm welcome to all of you on behalf of CXO Media to this Marketing Leader Connect series webinar. Just before we start to inform you, this is a series we are continuing for some time, where the marketing leaders from leading organizations come and talk about primarily the discussion revolve around now every enterprise organization has undergone significant digitization. So the basic idea of this webinar is once this digitization or digital transformation has taken place, how that has affected or impacted on the dynamics of marketing. Different facets of it we take up specifically, and we try to sort of try and see if sort of a best practices in digital marketing, or not just digital marketing, rather I will say marketing in the digital era. The best practices, if that can come out in the discussion, and we share that post the event, all the social video as well as the report, text report also with all the panelists. There's best practices we call out and share it with the overall industry and see if we can sort of tabulate some of these best practices. So without further ado, it's my pleasure to invite today's panelists. It's my pleasure to first invite, we have with us Ashish Shah. He's a senior field marketing manager from Google. Welcome, Ashish, to today's discussion.
Thank you, Rajneesh.
We have with us Deepti Sharma. He's the country marketing manager of SUSE India. Welcome, Deepti.
Thank you so much, Rajneesh.
We have with us Unnati Gajjar. She's the marketing director of Sears. Welcome, Unnati.
Thank you so much, Rajneesh. Glad to be here.
Yeah, sure. And we have with us Tanmay Patabhyal. He's the head of marketing of Nadal Networks. Welcome, Tanmay.
Thank you, Rajesh.
And we have with us Mohantesh Godi. He's the director of CXO Media, and I'm sure most of you know him very well. So, what we would like to, as I mentioned, what we would like to start with each panelist is uh, we are talking about all this digital era, enterprises undertaking digital transformation. So, in this era, when the organizations have taken a significant digital view, if I may say, as a marketing leader, when someone asks the key roles and responsibilities that you undertake today. So, what I would request each panelist to highlight the most important or most critical responsibility that you handle as a marketing leader in an organization which has undertaken a digital leap, so as to say. So let's start with the ladies, maybe. Dipti, if we can start with you.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Rajneesh. I know in today's time, marketing is no more the traditional kind of a role. The way marketing has evolved. I guess there are a lot of challenges. It's no more like, the marketing dashboards where we used to work. Now it has actually converted into actual business dashboards. So yes, as a marketing leader, our roles are just not confined to the SQOs or the MQLs. It's much more. It's a wider concept now where we have to connect with the customer end to end, working on the hyper personalization, working on the content, working with different teams from sales to solution architect to the customer success story team. So our role is now is a 360-degree role where we have to connect with different personas across the organization. It really keeps us on to the toes because every day it's super challenging. Maybe what works today might not work tomorrow. So yes, I guess for me at this stage is how I can actually use the different channels and target my targeted audience along with my partner ecosystem, my ISV, CHVs, the different partner categories, my channel partners. So definitely the challenges are more, but yes, with the different technology where we have it at today's scale, it's really making it easier to kind of have the maximum information, the data, the right data, and to kind of target our, the audience.
Thank you. So, very rightly highlighted that end-to-end approach. We will come back to you little more detail on that. This 360-degree approach that you mentioned, and end-to-end, where a lot of constituents are involved, and beyond traditional marketing now, marketing has to look at addressing all those constituents. Thanks, Dipti, for that. We'll come back a little more detail on that in the later rounds. Unnati, the same question I'd like to put to you now. One key responsibility in this new avatar as a marketing leader, what you would like to highlight?
Yeah, so carrying forward what Deepthi pointed out, saying that marketing has evolved a lot over last few years. We have moved from being a support function who was looked at someone who adds a creative side of your organization to somebody who's part of the growth structure, who's a revenue driver, and that puts all of us in a very exciting space. So, in order to live up to that, now a marketer also needs to breathe in and live data, breathe in and live customers' voice, ensure there's a good exchange between external world, which is all your customers and stakeholders and partners, to the internal world where you have your delivery and services team running through it. And with AI coming in last couple of years, what has become very important responsibility for each of the marketers is to be very technology fluent. We need to ensure that we are looking at every role of ours, inspecting it from a technology lens and saying, how can I make it more productive? how can I measure it much better, right? And how can I evolve it to be future ready? So I think we are sitting at a cusp of changing times for marketing, especially with the new models of working that are coming in future. So I would say not one, but many skills that are driven towards the tech marketing is very important these days.
Thanks. So, couple of important points again, which we would like to elaborate a little further later. One, the evolution of marketing from more a support kind of function to being one of the primary revenue drivers. And second, obviously, a lot of technology skills are now required in a marketing function. And AI is one of those tools, definitely, where data is of primary importance. Obviously, the data part we will take up later, but thanks, Unnati, for those points. Ashish, I'll come to you next with one key responsibility in today's as a marketeer today, which you would like to highlight.
Yeah, so I quite agree with what my colleagues had said earlier. I think I feel the same. If you look at today's role of a marketeer or the marketing team in general, I do believe that it is, moving away from being drivers of campaigns to actually being drivers of business growth. So, in my view, I think we are now also architects of the end-to-end customer experience. So, um, it means taking a very quantifiable, data-driven approach, improving what value marketing is driving for business impact, owning those data strategies, making sure that every initiative or every touch point is helpful, responsible, measurable. The other thing which I also wanted to touch upon is the role of marketing in terms of driving agile integration, in terms of breaking down silos. So, given the fact that we work in pretty complex environments where there are multiple teams involved, I think it is for marketing to integrate very deeply with sales, product, service, and take the customer's non-linear journey across all touch points, whether it's digital, physical. That I think is also a role that the marketing leader and the team needs to kind of be very cognizant of.
Thanks. So, obviously, the first the data part, but and the second part is a most interesting thing that you highlighted, that marketing is sort of that underlying fabric now, which sort of integrates the different views, which till now have been primarily operating in silos, be it products or sales, and understand. So that's big responsibility, obviously. Thanks, Ashish, for that.
Yeah.
Tanmay, the same question to you in terms of one key responsibility in today's marketing role that you would like to highlight.
Mentioned about they're bringing the insights and the experiences what they have shared. So one thing in terms of, if we look into deep dive into the digital transformation, the journey within the industries, within the large enterprises. So as a marketer, definitely we are sitting at the intersection of the creativity, technology, and the data science, because where we see that the future of of the customer engagement lives. So one thing is very clear. I mean, we see that AI as a strategic partner. There are two important critical areas which I foresee. One is the automation, and the second is the modernization. So where we are trying to solve and simplify the process, but at the same time, behind the simple systems, there is a complex systems which is working together seamlessly and trying to create more value for the customers. But also at the same time, the one thing is very clear, that the our role as a campaign managers have really moved to data strategists and technology orchestrators, where fundamentally, if you look into it, the role that what I'm trying to mention it, that the intuition based decision making to evidence driven strategy, that is where I would touch upon. So this is where, adding to whatever my fellow colleagues have added, I mean, they have added a lot of information. This is where my thought process and my inputs from my end.
Thanks, thanks. So very interesting what you were saying. Even the decision making capability was there in the traditional marketing role, but there has been a shift from, while primarily earlier it was more intuition based, it is now more evidence based on data generated and the insights that are coming out of those data. Great, very interesting. Um, Montesh, would like to add something here?
Yeah, sure. I think I completely agree with all the marketeers. Today, if you see in the market, right, we have been seeing some of these silos which were playing up earlier. So it's not just about one stakeholder now. And for a media house like ours, it becomes that much more critical for us to, engage with multiple stakeholders. And then, like Ashish pointed out, bring in the customer engagement and customer experience, because that's the ultimate goal that each one of us are trying to derive and drive at. And that's when I think most of the marketing campaigns that we collaborate with are successful, with a lot of insights and data driven facts. Yep.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So let's come back to you, Dipti. Before specific areas on what you mentioned, we would like to take up, or let's take that up now. You, as a marketeer in the digital era, when we are talking about, and this end-to-end approach, what you mentioned, where all the constituents you have to address to as a marketeer. See, one very important thing, even in a B2B environment, is customer satisfaction. And there are a lot of surveys, measures, indices to measure the customer satisfaction points. So, my question is, when how do you sort of integrate the marketing measures that you undertake? Some of them will be, I'm sure, reactionary, but these customer satisfaction indices and the marketing measures, how do you sort of integrate the two so that they work in very synchronized manner in today's environment?
Sure, that's an interesting question, Rajneesh. First of all, in today's time, for every marketer, it's very essential how our customers are feeling. And there are different parameters, there are different metrics through which we kind of determine what exactly our customers are feeling, whether it is through, the CSAT scores or through the NPS scores, which my organization plays a very, very emphasis on it. And eventually how I can have a higher rating, my organization can have a higher rating, the NPS score or the CSAT score. A lot of efforts goes from the marketing side, right from the acquisition of the customer to conversion to retention to loyalty to actually advocacy. There are so many phases of the life cycle where, as a marketer, I have to invest into different channels, different strategies across different platforms to make sure that my customer is happy, he is having the right resources, he is being given a very personalized kind of a content created, targeted messaging, where it cut through the noises and reaches him and he feels connected, right? How I'm enabling my customers, how I'm creating a partner ecosystem with my channel partners, with my ISVs, CSVs, or any of my partners, create that ecosystem, convey the right messaging, set up the right enablement tools, have my partner portal, my customer portal accessible to these customers, so that anytime and every time they have the easy access to the information, they have the right training module, they have the easy access to the connects where they can talk, and of course they have the right partner portfolio with them. So yes, as a marketer, I have a huge role, as again I'm emphasizing on it, a 360-degree life cycle, right from acquisition to advocacy. There's a lot of effort where a marketer put through different channels, through different media, and I feel that's eventually kind of give us a high NPS or a CSAT scores, where I guess every organization is emphasizing on.
Yeah, I know the CSAT or the NPS scores are very important, but what you said brings us to a fundamentally more important area. What you are saying is basically an extended an enterprise or an organization today has an extended enterprise ecosystem, if I may say. So
Absolutely.
we'll have, as you mentioned, the channel, the ISVs, the SIs, and whatever suppliers or other. So now, the important point is, in many cases, those entities are organizations themselves, and they will have a marketing framework or a structure in place. So, what that involves ultimately is all those entities to have their marketing function synchronized seamlessly in one platform. Otherwise, what you mentioned, things would be things would be contradicting each other. So, how do you manage that?
Okay, so we have different GTM programs. As I said, we have different customers across different verticals, and we have very, very specific targeted partners where we work. We have that ecosystem, and every ecosystem we have a different strategic workflow, right from getting them onboarded, enabling them, to training them, to post acquisition, what services, training, what we are providing it. We have a very, very set channel for each partner, for each customer, as well as for the partner ecosystem, and that's where we put in the effort. Of course, as I said, it's not gonna be same, because every customer has different challenges, and we kind of fine tune our strategy, our marketing, what do you say, the marketing setup according to the customer. So basically, as a marketer, what I'm trying to convey it out here is, for me to get that higher score, to get that higher rating, to get the customer satisfaction, my role is just not confined to be the creative corners. It's now evolving more to a brand custodian, working more closely with the CIO, CTO, CXOs, working on the strategic decisions, key decisions, fine tuning my program, and then aligning it with the customers and the partners.
Thanks. That makes it more clear. Okay. Next, Unnati, I'll come back to you. Earlier, you raised one very fundamental and important point, that primarily earlier, while marketing was looked more as a what I'd say a support kind of function, to it's more to move towards a revenue growth driver. If I may say, many organizations used to consider marketing more as a cost center model, to now it's a profit center kind of model. So, how has this transition taken place, and more importantly, as a marketeer, how are you managing that transition, and what's the way forward there?
Sure. Thanks, Rajesh, for that question. So, one very important thing that has happened in the recent times is an ask for ensuring there's a hyper personalized campaign, a hyper personalized motion when you have a conversation with a prospect or a customer. And that's where marketing plays at the front foot. Uh, we need to ensure that not just the research data, but also the previous experiences with these prospects are taken into consideration while we are building out a campaign or a content solution for them. So this is one of the areas where we go out and have a conversation externally. While we do that, marketing plays an important role to build out the internal stakeholder ecosystem as well. Who are the right people internally as well to be placed in front of those customers? What is the voice? What is the messaging that we want to take forward? uh, for a company like Sears, who has already been working with a lot of these large enterprises and new technology companies, it has also become very important for us to grow our engagement with them. And this is where marketing comes in play, where we talk about increasing the share of engagement. So, understanding how the relationship has been, what has been the voice of the customer, and what has been the ask. A lot of our customers today, in this space of AI, are looking to incorporate AI into their functions. And this is an absolutely new space where we don't, neither us nor our customers would have a past project or a past experience to go out and talk. It's about a partnership, a joint engagement to sit together and solve the problem that we foresee with a different lens of AI. Right? And this is where I believe marketing plays a key role to understand unspoken need of those customers, to understand how we as an organization go out and place the new technologies that have come in, the new approaches that have we've experienced. And this is where our partners also come play an important role to bring out the technologies that are up and coming, right? And all of this in the time and era of uh, AI has to happen in a very agile manner. We are expecting real time feedback, we are expecting real time implementation, and a seamless experience. So, I believe marketing plays a key role in building that base, building that ecosystem, which is very well connected. We all spoke about removing the silos, we all spoke about extended ecosystem through marketing. I think that's where our key role comes in.
Thanks. One important point I'd like to understand, you mentioned at the beginning about the internal stakeholder ecosystem. So my question is obviously the nature of the number of internal stakeholders have increased in this digital era, and when we are talking about real time, the agility has to come to that extent. But I would still like to ask you, how would you identify these internal stakeholders in today's era when we are talking about, see, some things remain fundamental. Marketing always was talking about a brand story that has to be there. That fundamental thing has not changed, but we are talking about a hyper personalized context and the other things. So, in this, when this shift is happening, how do you identify those internal stakeholders and then assign them the appropriate roles and responsibilities? How do you do that?
Interesting. So, this is again very much led by the customer's need. Uh, we understand how we would, I mean, as a marketing team, we would have to play a key role in understanding what is the need of the hour from the customers. The way we are structured at Sears is by putting customers at the center. We call ourselves as solvers. We are the ones who partner with our customers and solve their problems very differently. So internally, we have a philosophy of creating a solver squad, which is mapped to the customer's need. It no more is sliced as per their industry or the roles that they come in. It's absolutely driven by what is the need that the customer has. And we have a huge team of marketeers, we call them as marketing business partners, who spend good amount of their time researching these accounts, not just accounts, researching the people that we are working with. What are their success metrics? What are their needs? How are they successfully implementing the project with seers and other partners? And what are the future needs that they are expressing? This knowledge that we are creating has been a very important driver to build out those solver squads that we spoke about. And that's our way of creating that internal ecosystem which is mapped to our customers need. So I think it's a lot to do with understanding the customer through the data that we have, plus the research that we can drive and bring out those insights as marketeers.
Very interesting. Thank you. Thank you. Ashish, I'll come to you and the importance of data. There is no second thought about that. Insights, they can be predictive insights or any other insights derived from data. And only then, once it is applied, it's crucial for marketing today. My question is now this data, it's a humongous amount of data and it's coming from multiple kind of sources, structured, unstructured, everything. So as a large organization and looking after the marketing for a large organization, for any proper insights, I know there are tools, but even then, how successfully this data is assimilated so that proper analytics can be applied on it? What is the challenge of these heterogeneous data points which are coming in today?
Sure. Thanks for that, Rajneesh. So, I think the point you made is very important. If you look at data today, it's a mix of structured, unstructured, but very important. It's, as I call it, the three V's, which is volume, velocity, and variety, which is something that, anyone who's looking at data and analytics and insights has to deal with. So, if you look at, how does one leverage data analytics and insights to enhance marketing performance, I do believe that, at the core, it has to be that analytics is seen as a core engine for all marketing decisions, something that I called out earlier, right? So how do you automate those insights? How are you optimizing that to drive performance? So if you look at, for example, unified measurement, just at our end, we use tools like Google Analytics. BigQuery provides, a unified view on predictive analytics as well to get a holistic privacy first view of the complete customer journey. So, and I want to stress on this privacy first view because that's important, right? So this allows us to understand these complex multi touch points that the customer kind of takes and which are very often non-linear. The other is in terms of predictive audiences. So how do you use machine learning? I think with the advent of AI, you need to move beyond historical data and be able to try and see how you think the customer is going to respond. So I think in that sense, predictive audiences, where how are these users likely to purchase or likely to churn, allows one to kind of proactively invest resources where they can have the greatest impact. We always struggle with limited resources, but the need for greater impact. So I think it helps balance that out. The other piece is in terms of optimization, which takes place in real time. So if you look at AI driven campaigns like Performance Max, and you see like thousands of real time signals which are there to optimize your media spend, your creatives, targeting all of this simultaneously. At the end of the day, it's really about ensuring that every marketing dollar that you're putting out there is working as hard as possible in terms of kind of helping you drive your business goals.
So, when you're talking about the real-time insights that are coming in, so much emphasis on AI, maybe because again, from your experience, that sheer volume of that data is so large. Typically in AI, there is now increasingly a recognition about things like the biases, the inherent biases, and those, and that can impact the insights. And when you're talking about those real-time insights coming in, that can have be a challenge. So how do you look at mitigating such a challenge?
In what sense when you say mitigating the challenge?
I sensed, see, when you are increasingly using AI, there are possibilities of biases and the other things which can throw up maybe not the correct insights all the time. And you are looking at real time most of those insights. So, is there an inherent mechanism to address issues like this in AI so that that does not impact the marketing insights?
Yeah, so I think one of it is, like I said, it's there to predict. Is it accurate all the time? No, it's not accurate all the time. And I think in that sense, you also need to look at it in the context of historical data. And I think context setting is very important. It can be a tool of predicting behavior, but it's not like a guaranteed tool of kind of accurately concluding what behavior is. So I think one needs to differentiate between those two areas. For me, I think in terms of mitigating that, it is a machine learning model, right? So it also goes through its own cycle of learning, and the more data and the you feed in, the richer those insights or the more accurate those insights. So I think it's like that whole learning cycle that even the machine learning platform needs to go through. And in terms of being able to mitigate the risk of how accurate it is, I think it is also looking in the context of historical data.
The more the accuracy, as more the historical data is gathered. Great. Thank you. Tanmay, I'll come to your earlier, you mentioned about the shift from more the intuition based to evidence based. Now, my question is again, if we look at fundamental marketing, even before this digital transformation, the some of the traditional outcomes of marketing that we are looking at, that fundamentally I'm sure has not changed. You look at how can you increase the market share of your brand, how can you increase obviously the top line and bottom line, and maybe which you can call as a wallet share. So wallet share and market share, and the third important point is mind share, more in terms of the brand value. So when we are talking about that shift from that intuition based to evidence based, how do you reconcile with these three goals? How this shift has happened?
Okay, great question. So one thing, Rajesh, what I personally believe is, today from mind share to market share is something where we always look forward. Now, how we do it. So at Neural Networks, we have built our marketing around three core principles which directly impact our customer satisfaction scores. First, from the day one, we believe in to build the trust. Now, the question is why? If you look into it, 81% of the customers are willing to pay more for the better service. Now, whether we do, let's say, a webinar or case study or a LinkedIn post, even, we try to create is designed to establish our credibility before we talk about any technology. Number one. Second thing is that we try to listen to the emotions rather than a data. So more of a not just data, I would say, because engaged customers deliver 23% higher profitability if you look into it, and also we try to track the sentiments across every touch point, because happy customers are the best salesperson for us. Now, third thing, we try to fix the problems before they become complaints. So as per our understanding and the market insights, what we try to gather is, let's say, out of 25 unhappy customers, one customer will always actually complain, right? So if you look into it, it's better to be a kind of a proactive and personalized content to catch the friction early. So here is the bottom line if you look into it. So satisfying customers, don't buy more, but they become the advocates. So as in the previous, what being pointed out by Unnati, the advocacy is what I believe is the most powerful marketing that we can't buy.
Okay, thanks. Thanks. Okay, now I'll again put a common question to all the panelists. And coming from a media marketing perspective, this is might be really relevant in today's time. I'll follow that order and start with you, Dipti, again. When enterprises or industry players like all of you work with the media, and media definition has also changed over the years. So there's a very common term is that we are using a 360-degree outreach campaign to reach our targeted customers, and media entities involved there to provide a support function to the industry player. Now, my question is, even the 360-degree has sort of become jaded in the sense that what all constituents are today involved in the 360-degree campaign, outreach campaign, which as an industry player, you seek to involve with media for. So what are some of the key components of that 360-degree, starting with you, Dipti?
Rajneesh, are you trying to convey is targeting a customer involving media? Can you be a little more clearer on the question? I'm so sorry. A little more if you can add on to the question.
Sure. What I meant was, see, as an industry player, when you are targeting on planning outreach to various of your target groups, target customers, there are many cases where you work with a media entity as a partner, and typically the approach is that it's a 360-degree kind of approach where different modes of, if I may use the word, campaigns are used. So my question is, this 360 degree, what all that involves? So that primarily translates into modes of reaching out, modes of your outreach to your target customers, and how do you involve the media entity in that outreach campaign?
Definitely. Let me just quickly give you an example. Like recently, we have signed up an agreement with one of our partner. Okay, it's basically I don't want to name them because it's still the PR is out rolling it out. So yeah, so that has so how we have worked upon there are different elements to it, right? From getting a joint agreement to working on a PR to social media messaging, plus EDMs to what content syndication we can get it. So these are different channels where we work across. We also do have the press media meet where we engage some of the media folks. We do some kind of an editorials with these key media partners along with the customer, the partner, and the key stakeholders from my organization, Suza. So that's how we channelize all the key stakeholders across different partner ecosystem to customer ecosystem to my organization, and work with very closely with different medias, with different journalists, right from, as I said, from PR to social, to blogging to video success stories, to working on some of the crafted editorials and advertorials. So that's how we kind of cover up the entire outbound reach in terms of the external communication and PR dissemination.
Thanks. Thank you. Unnati, the same question for you. What are those constituents that you use for outreach?
So, specifically talking about the role of media, Rajesh, I think in this era of AI generated content, it is very important for us to go out and present the authentic self that we are as CS as an organization. And this is where we need to choose the right channels. We don't want to be yet another blog which is written by our, uh, GPTs. So we want to ensure that there are media partners who will help us bring out the credibility. We want to ensure there are channels who are credible enough, where there are good readers, where our customers are reading, where our prospects are reading, and also the media partners who have their authentic voice. We just don't want to be part of any stream. So when we select a media partner, we also go through their content calendars, go through their specialization, go through the authenticity of what their voice is, and how do we align to those. So glad that you pointed that this question, where content has taken such a huge role for all of us, wherein we are fighting this noise and the clutter of over content production, and yet bringing ourselves out. So this is where media becomes, or right media partner becomes very important for all of us.
Thanks for that clarification. Ashish, I'll come with the same question to you.
Sure. So first, I'd like to point out, when you look at the evolution of a 360 campaign, as you mentioned, I think one needs to look at the distinction from what it used to be versus what it is now. So I think earlier we used to have a 360 campaign used to probably be more of a channel centric saturation view. So you had a campaign that was rolled out across multiple touch points, whether it's TV, radio, print, outdoor. Then it got into digital. So you had social, you had various web pages, into the mobile, etc. But that, I think, was a very static and repetitive process of reiterating that same message, the same tagline, the same, and it reached just through various channels. So no matter where you were, you saw that same message time and time again. The assumption or the understanding back then was that, a combination of reach and frequency with this kind of a push strategy is going to help us in terms of convincing the customer that they need to buy. I think if you look at it in today's day and age, I do believe that it's evolved in a more customer centric orchestration as against a channel saturation kind of an approach. And I think in that sense, when you look at the channel, it's more about the customer's journey. And from that point of view, it's not really linear, right? I mean, so for example, I might have seen a video on YouTube and then I might search something on those same lines. Does it need to be the same thing? No, but it needs to be able to take that conversation forward, right? So I think in there, the role of technology really plays an important part. If you look at just how AI and automation can kind of drive this in terms of, one is, of course, measuring campaign performance. So, like, for example, Google has its own performance max. Or even in terms of creating content. I mean, now you have tools that automatically create content for you. You can do testing, you can figure out which one is working, etc., what's more relevant to the user, and then put it out there. So whether it is search, YouTube, display, email, whether it's Gmail or whatever other email, I think the whole full funnel gets unified on the back of AI. So I think that's there. And of course, moving into something which is more first party driven. So earlier we used to have data. I used to work in an FMCG company many years ago, and we used to get a lot of this media related data or demographic data which told us what a customer might be like. I think in today's first party kind of an approach, you already know, or you get to know, that in a privacy first context, you get to know about your customers in the here and now. And I think in that sense, the distinction is really in taking it from hitting every channel or hitting a multitude of channels to actually looking at it in the context of saying that, okay, this is my customer, and this is their journey, and how can I intercept that journey and be of relevance to them. So
Thanks. That you very importantly mentioned one thing. While traditionally it was a more channel-centric campaign, that has shifted more towards a customer-centric campaign. Tanmay, the same question for you.
Okay. So, is to move, to answer to your question. So, first of all, think the kind of a domain which we are into. So, before partnering to any media agency, we will definitely always have an interaction and to understand their, what are the let's say the strength area, what is the value, because we first of all try to educate our what are the line of a business we are into, what domain we are into. So in terms of the private 5G, because it's a very nascent stage, but thing is that it is also big chunk of opportunities lying over there, but at the same time there are, it has some set of challenges at the same time. So it is very important for us to communicate to any media partner so that they understand and they buy in that what is the value, because it's not about reaching out to the CXOs or the target audience. It's about what is the compelling story that we would like to communicate out of the whatever that we try to, based on the use cases. And as per the funnel and the we try to understand that, okay, what is let's say these are the specific target segments which we are looking for. So whether it could be a thought leadership kind of an article, it could be a kind of a blog which we keep on publishing on our website, and also keep using the LinkedIn platform and other social media platforms to amplify that, to reach out to the right target audience. But for us, it is very important that to whosoever partner we, whether it's a media partner or any other partner, first of all we should understand, I mean, our expectation is to that they understand our business pretty well so that they can add a value. Because, and for that there are certain factors which will drive us, is of course the transparency, the openness, what are the challenges, so all those things, because then only the effectiveness of the any campaign, whether you do it, so that then only we would be able to meet. So Neeral, I mean, I would say it's just, I mean, we are hardly 6 years, 6.5 years old organization that we are currently, and miles to go. So in terms of 360-degree, campaign, which you, so we are still yet to touch that kind of, do those, where we really, we talk into channels, every channel, every avenues, so to create more revenues. So that is what I would say.
Thanks, Tanmay. Mohantesh, you would like to add something here?
Yeah, absolutely, Rajnish. I think today, if you look at from a media house perspective, I think marketing integration across the ecosystem is not just about creating brand voice. It's all about creating credibility. I think Unnati touched upon this one, and also given the data that we have, right? We are getting from customer insights, we are getting from various stakeholders that we are trying to work with. Now, how do we ensure that all of this data is taken into consideration, and then we kind of create a program which is driving the campaign objectives? I think aligning partners, customers under a unified marketing strategy, that becomes really important, and only then is when we can increase reach, enhance trust about the brand, and drive sustainable growth. Because there are so many brands that are fighting for the same share of voice, right, or market share or wallet share. Now, how do we ensure that the partner that we are working with, we kind of put an edge and probably put them at the forefront? I think that is one of the thing that I'm looking, which is increasing a bit, and putting all these ecosystem partner together and making the campaign successful is what something that we can drive for.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so we will conclude the last round and asking each of you. We have talked about different measures, important aspects of marketing, but going forward, if we may, and not looking at the very distant future, maybe the next few quarters, from a marketing perspective, the key action points that you foresee from your organization perspective that you will be undertaking, and obviously some of those action points would be overall critical in the overall marketing scenario also. So I'll start with you again, Deepti.
Definitely, Rajneesh. As you all know, that AI definitely is going to be a very, very key part for any of the marketers. But humanizing conversation is definitely going to play a very, very important role to cut through the noise and make sure that we kind of, create those brand loyalties in the market. So that's what my focus is going to be around it.
Great. Unnati?
Yeah, I think Rajneesh, in next few years, it's all going to be looking at those functions in the responsibilities where I can utilize more AI and automation to be more productive, to be ensuring more agility in my process, and ensuring that we have more personalized customer journey that we can present. So, very excited to the turn of events that's happening with AI and autonomous tools that have come in, and that's where I think we would have to bet for next few years.
Thanks. Ashish?
Yeah, so I think for us, like Dipti and Unnati mentioned, I think for us also it is going to be an AI first kind of an approach. I think that pivot is already happened. But I think that next generation of marketing is, whether it's in terms of productivity, creativity, driving business outcomes, I think those are some of the areas that we'll definitely be looking at it. So for us, it's also, one of the things I wanted to call out is, as against a hyper personalized approach, a hyper relevant approach probably also is something that would be more front and center. How are we more relevant to our customers in the future? And I think that goes back to the starting comment that I made is, I think marketing needs to be more as a business growth driver. So I think everything that we do or are already doing is, how are we contributing more to the growth of the business? So I think that focus will be continuing.
Thanks. Tanmay?
It is something what we are looking for to positioning our brand not only in India but out of India. That is one. And second is the more personalized, as what Ashish has mentioned. I also second that. In terms of whatever based on the audience, definitely everyone is the attention span has come down. So definitely we have to be very apt in terms of there should be a hook in terms of getting the attention and also making it more relevant for them. So that is what we are I'm looking forward.
Okay, so a general consensus is that AI is going to definitely, if not define, but definitely impact the future of marketing. There are things like humanizing the conversations, effectively leveraging AI to enhance the agility and proactiveness, effective marketing measurements, ultimately defining the business outcomes, leveraging AI. That's very critical. So before we conclude, anyone would like to add any point? Any of the panelists?
See, one more thing I'd like to add. Let's say by combining the data and human insight, so we should be in a position to become smarter marketing decisions and to engage with the right audience at the right time, and also continuously improve the way that we tell our story to the outside world. So that is what I would like to mention.
Yes, definitely engaging with the right audience at the right time. That remains of paramount importance, obviously from a marketing perspective. Great. Thanks to all the panelists for a nice and interesting and insightful conversation. And as I mentioned at the beginning, we will share with you the videos and the reports and some of the important points summing up which were discussed today, and maybe spread that with a wider audience so that some of the insights gleaned from today's discussion they can apply in their roles in their respective organizations. Thanks all of you again, and wishing all of you have a very good day. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Rajneesh.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you, Rajneesh.